again. Here we go. This is my, initial phrase. I don't know what to say, but here we go. Buggy Live with me, Riccardo. And today, for the very first time, we are broadcasting from Twitch and not from Facebook, as always, as usual. But the main thing, the main news is that today I'm quite also emotional to introduce my guest because it's kind of a swapped interview because today we have the honor to have here at Buggy Live, which is going to interview me, Mr. Will Oakes, the president of Foosball, British Football Association, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so I'm all here for you. So
Okay.
the first question is me to you. How are you? How do you feel
Fine.
being with us?
I'm fine. I'm Ricardo. I'm really looking forward to our conversation too,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
we in World Football, everyone's been seeing you reaching out on your journey,
Okay.
talking to so many different people. And when you and I spoke before, I said, let's learn a bit about who is Ricardo. What is Buggy Live? Why are you doing this? Let's talk about Italian, the game in Italy. Let's talk about you and learn a bit more about your story in this game.
So do you
So
have a precise question to?
shall I be
Yeah.
the interviewer?
Okay. So
So
you'll be
Ricardo,
the interviewer and I will the interviewer.
exactly. So Buggy Live, here we are. We are with Riccardo Fredolini. Ricardo, I know the first question is always, how are you today? How are
I'm
things?
okay. I'm great. I'm good because now I'm outside. I'm not in Italy now. I'm broadcasting from Thailand, which has a great weather because I like the heat. And above all, I'm happy because I'm in front of you, which you are a great person in the world of football. So I'm really honored to be interviewed by you.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. Well, I'm really honored to be talking to you because, as I said, you're on this journey. A lot of us are seeing you, and we want to learn a bit more about you. So, I think the first question to ask you, Ricardo, is how did you get into table football, into Vollo, Calcio Balilla, Biliardino? How did you get into this game in the first place? What attracted you to it?
Okay, to be honest, this is a cool question. Okay, I mean, to be honest, when I was, I think 16, it was the first time because we try always not to go to school. When we can, we invent also kind of strikes to avoid school. And at some point at that age, it was the high school. So we had the amusement room near our school, and we always hop in there to play video games. Actually, I was more a fan of video games rather than football. And it was a friend of mine that introduced me to Biliardino because where I'm from, Tuscany, we call Biliardino.
Biliardino.
Yes.
Biliardino.
Yeah, at that time we played the traditional style, just to give you a rough idea, even though I didn't know anything about the rule. The only thing is that I remember already at that time was the 90s, around 92, 93, we could not play with the famous hook, or
Gancho.
yeah, gancho, international style. You cannot
And
pass.
gancho is just passing between the players. So,
Yes.
for international language, that would be like a push kick, a pull kick, just passing from the players on the five bar. That's not allowed in Italy
Okay, no,
in
and
traditional style.
yeah, traditional style is still not allowed. Then we will see what happened in the future. Then
So, what attracted you? You're with your friends in the video game parlor.
yeah.
What started to bring you to the game more? What did you enjoy about it?
It was actually a friend of mine who started to insist to play with me this game in single because I didn't like much playing double, as obviously being a rookie. I got so many insults to begin with because it's always was always my fault. So I gave up really easily. I know that's bad to say, but and my role was goalie, so I got scored so many times, so I said I give up. Then a friend of mine started to teach me, how to play, and little by little I discover this world that I missed for a long time. Because what I have to say is that my friend actually is the only one I saw playing in a total different way. It's like the Brazil, okay? It might not he's never been, at high level, but the way he played, it was so cool to watch, like the, I don't know, in English we call it schiaccino. He bounced the ball on the ramp, and then he made like a circle, and then push with the pin in the middle, no, the attack. I mean, it's not easy to describe, but it was so good just to watch. That's why I fell in love with the sport.
And I think that's falling in love is part of the foosball experience, right? I stood in front of a group of people a few years ago. I said, "Hi, I'm Will. I'm addicted to table football." And you see people with T-shirts saying "foosball addict." We're all hooked in some way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really I think I wanted to talk a bit more about the Italian game because it's so different to international foosball. We have pull shot and snake and 5-bar and zone defense, and there's so much strategy.
Yeah.
Take your time, and then you watch Italian, and I watch quite a lot on YouTube. It's bam, 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 bam. But as you said, there's genius and beauty, but it's very different to what I would know. So I'd really understand a bit. Help me understand the Italian game. What are the strategies? What are the shots? What are the different rules? What's going on in an Italian game?
Okay, to begin with, if I have to be honest, if I had to start playing the ITSF style, I don't know, probably I would never have start, I think I was really attracted by the fact that it's really, really fast paced. This is one of the main reasons also that we can distinguish the two different styles, let's say. I don't know, what can I say? Is just we cannot stop the ball, okay? I don't know because, okay, what I can maybe say is just recap. I know by some old people playing before me, maybe in the 70s or late 60s, that we did play the same way. And then little by little, I don't know, fade out maybe this kind of style, you know what I mean? And started to play. I don't know the reason why, honestly. It's just maybe because we got bored. I hope no one get offended for that. But
I think it's perhaps the other way around, which is because the way Italians play is the way everyone starts. If you go to any country in the world and you go to how are the children playing foosball? How are the people? They just spin the rods, they hit the ball never stops. Ba 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 ba. The strange thing is to play 15 seconds on the 3-bar. Ready. What are you doing? So the strange thing is the international game. And the Italian game is the normal thing, if you like.
Well,
although when I watch on YouTube, there are so many rules. There's so many times they stop, they take the ball out because there's an infraction, and the Italian rules are really complicated. It's not like there are no rules; there are many rules, right?
No, absolutely. I mean that there are many rules. That now the fact that you're telling me that it is possibly the other way around makes me kind of surprised, because I thought, I mean, ideally, that you start in a slow pace and then little by little you modify, not the other way around. That's the. I mean, I believe you that, but
I teach children. I have a program I do here in the UK. I go to a youth centre, and there's only one rule I tell the kids, which is no spinning, because all they want to do is spin the rods. So once we get past no spinning, then they start to have fun. But the ball never stops.
Yeah, this is what I did also.
I was watching Caruso, because I'm sure you know the great Caruso in Italy. He went to the final of the World Cup in Torino maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it was. And people are so unfamiliar with the Italian game and the way he played. It's very effective. You watch international players; they're terrified when they play Italians.
Yes, yeah.
Because the things Italians do are so unconventional. Nobody knows how to stop it.
Yeah, of course. This is something also when I interview people that maybe could, take some of our shots, in their arsenal. This could Definitely. Be a good advice. But yes, if you ask me why we play different, I really don't know. I just been brought up with this kind of style, which now has been also reduced to even much more fast pace, which is called the tre tocchi, the 3 touches that you know.
So what is tre tocchi? Explain a bit more about tre tocchi.
Okay, tre tocchi is kind of the same of traditional style, okay, but with some is more strict. I mean, in terms of timing. Timing is everything. You cannot keep the ball. You cannot bounce the ball as many times as you want, or as many times as you could do that before. Now you're allowed only to bounce 2 times on the side ramps, because, as you know, Italians use side ramps, and glass surface. After that, you must. It's mandatory the shot. Let's say. So yeah.
And the World Cup in Murcia last year, and you probably know this, the ITSF ran, they called it rollerball or speedball, but they had a big competition all on Italian Roberto Sport tables, doing Italian rules. I think it was Tre Tocchi, so the ITSF official speedball rules are the Italian rules. And of course the Italians came first, second, third. But what was really cool was the rest of the world got to experience what it's like playing Italian style. And of course some people are foosball snobs, but actually the other people who came third in that competition, apart from the Italians, were Terry Roux and Billy Papas, right?
Okay.
Who are, Terry Roux is one of the best players in the US, and Billy Papas is one of the best players in history.
Yeah.
And those guys, and also what was really cool in Spain, they ran the two legs. So they did, just like the Spanish play on the two legs table, the football-in table. They also did a football-in and again, for the international players, nobody knows the Spanish table. So which country came second in the World Cup in two legs? It was Italy.
Yes.
Because the Italian style worked on a two legs table.
You see? Yeah, because let's say the pace is kind of similar. The rhythm to very fast. And we're not used to stop the ball, so we have more let's say we're more focused on this kind of shots.
I play Italians here in London a lot, and I know that the 5-bar defense, the 3-bar defense they've got is really dangerous. I'm busy setting up on my 2-bar, and I'm taking my time, and I make my shot, bang, it's in my goal.
That was
Vito, who's from Sicily. Vito's 5-bar defense. I'm doing my nice little 5-bar. I do the chip pass, bang, smacks it back in my face in the goal.
It was funny when you told me that they didn't want to understand that there are more than one style in the world, and it's not only our style. So when they kept saying, "No, this is gancho," no, this is something that we will talk a little bit later.
I'm interested about tournaments in Italy because again, you have these huge tournaments. I see them on Facebook. 600 people, 100 different clubs. So, have you been to tournaments yourself? Are you a tournament player? Have you experienced that?
Okay, this is a cool question because now I can explain how we started. Who is Buggy Live? Who am I? Me and my boss, because I used to work for him, Stefano, which you heard about him. We run, actually he's the owner, a club, okay, which was meant to host lots of tournaments, and he did actually, like 3 until a couple of years ago. Then I don't know what happened, but some people in the neighborhood area lost this interest. Okay, so back to your question. Yes, we host tournaments, not big, but just one was kind of big, yes, with Rosica and other 2 big players from Tuscany. So Rosica was the actual in the 2016 the world champion. Luigi Rosica, yes, the world champions in speedball. Rollerball, speedball, sorry, which is a little bit different from rollerball. So yes, in terms of tournament, we do organize in all our 20 odd regions that we are every week. But
so when you have a tournament, what's it like? What's the format?
Okay, the format is like we tend to let play even if you lose, like creating 2 different paths for the loser, the loser and the winner. If you lose, maybe we make you pay kind of consistent fee, but allows you to re-entered the game 2 or 3 times until the quarterfinal. Let's say.
That's
Okay.
nice. So people don't. That's one of the things I think. You said yourself when you started playing, and you're the goalkeeper, and you let in lots of goals, and your partner gives you a hard time. You feel really bad, and you don't want to come back.
Yeah.
And we lose so many people because when you win at football, it feels great. When you lose, it's really hard to come back. But you have to come back to the table. You have to learn how to accept that defeat. So it's nice that you make it accessible. I think I run tournaments. I think it's I don't care. I do care about the pros, but I really care about the new people because they're the future. You've got to give them the best time. They come, they have a crazy time, they love it, and they want to come back.
So this is something also we will advise, the rookie and the beginners about this feeling that loss can be, defeat can be also a big achievement.
Yeah. Now, Italian, I don't think you play one game first to 5, best of 5. I think when I've seen some Italian games, it's on the clock. It's like which team can score most goals in 10 minutes. That kind of, you have different formats, right? Or
no, usually it's 2 out of 3. 2 sets out of 3.
And you have to score 5 each time?
No, 6. Lately 6, before 7 and even 8. It depends, because when you are, how you say, at the round of 4, okay, you split in, 4 teams, they face each other.
Semi-final.
Okay? No, it's not the semi-final, before.
Final, quarter-final.
No, before started the 3. You have...
Oh, okay, qualification round.
Qualification round, sorry, I forgot. I do apologize. Qualificazione, yes. What is, to shorten the time, you just have 1 set match to 8. You need to score 8. And when you reach 7, you have 2 balls, like the deuce.
And you do tournaments in bars and cafes like Buggy Live, or you do tournaments like in France? They have big sports halls. In the US, they quite do it in sports bars. I'm doing them in a football stadium here in the UK. What's an Italian tournament? What's the location like?
Buggy Live is the broadcast. Sorry, it's called Buggy Club.
Buggy Club.
Yeah, Buggy
and you have
Club.
a buggy outside. You told me before. You actually have a little car.
2.
And a buggy outside.
2, because Stefano, is very passionate for buggies. So
normally tournaments take place in cafes and bars, do they?
Yes, definitely. Bars and pubs, yes. Normally tournament, we call the ham tournament, because you go into the final prize usually is the ham shoulder,
Really?
Yeah, and
That's Italian.
classic.
No money.
No, we cannot, by the law.
Oh, okay. No prize money. That's an important thing. So no prize money in Italian tournaments.
No. As far as I know, forgive me, people, if something came out now, but as far as I know, cannot.
That's interesting. Now, in a number of other countries as well, foosball has been banned in the past, including Thailand. Actually, we didn't talk about this. Thailand and Turkey are places where you couldn't play foosball because it got mixed up with, maybe it's gambling, or maybe it's like a gambling machine or something.
Yes, there can be, but it's considered gambling, so cannot be made a prize in money. So
now, one of the things whenever I've been to foosball tournament anywhere in the world, there's one thing which is I went to a Spanish tournament just to watch, and they're playing a slightly different game. But what is common is the smell. You walk in and it's like, this smells like a room full of mostly men sweating on a foosball table. So. You have a lot of people, a lot of, particularly Italian game, right? You have all that action.
I think it should be banned during summertime, to play Italian style. Sorry.
Riccardo, I have another question for you then.
Yeah.
So what put you on this journey of discovery in international table soccer? What because you could just stay in Italy doing tre tocchi. Something has brought you out to come and talk to everybody around the world. What started this, and what have you learnt on the way? Okay,
firstly, to answer the first question, I try to be very short. When we started, I was only the technician, because my hobby and also my qualification, I studied in Scotland, by the way. I'm a sound engineer, so I'm into audio video technology. So I was the technician of the new Buggy Live coming, broadcast. We used to do video post-production and to interview only Italian people, because our speaker, our presenter, it was a guy, is a guy called Augusto, could only speak Italian. So what happened? He then gave up after 1 month and a half. He was busy with his stuff anyway. Me and Stefano, we looked at each other and we thought, what do we do now? Because we started this adventure and I kind of like it, you know. So he said, I think you can speak a little English. Try maybe even with English. Try to widen the possibility. I said, yeah, I try, because I really like to know what my first idea is, you know, I really want to ask and know what other people think about our style. You know, this it's strange to say, but it was what made me start this kind of journey. I mean, this was only in theory. In practice, I was helped by um, an Italian player who lives in America, Michele Nasti. He was so kind and he helped me to realize this Buggy life. Let's say this is the brief history. I hope you didn't get bored.
No, and so what you started, did you speak to Michele first, and then you kind of
Yes,
poco a
yes.
poco,
Poco a
kind
poco,
of
little
started
by little, yes.
you start to connect with other people, and every week I see you speaking. You spoke to Jim, you spoke to Samantha Chu last week, you spoke to
Yes.
Alexandra Novkova in Bulgaria, you
Yeah,
spoke to Thomas
yeah.
Haas, you spoke to Cyrus, and what you'll find is in foosball we all kind of know each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
See,
I don't know how many Facebook friends I have. It's huge, but most of them are foosball.
yeah, yeah. This is to answer your second question. What did I find? What did I learn? You know, about talking with people. Okay, mainly that uh, there's not only one style. There are many style, many association. Even though, okay, ITSF thankfully became, you know, the chief, the one who said, okay, stop and use these rules, please. Otherwise, it would have been a mess, you know. Even if you would organize a tournament, everyone would come with his own rules in mind. And secondly, that this is a big family. Whether you lose, whether you win, okay, when, let's say, that the rage of loss, not the rage, but you know, that I say frustration of a loss passes, then okay, let's go, we are friends, let's go, maybe you come to me, I go to you. This is something that really made me continue, you know, to talk and to interview people, to discover that this is a really beautiful world.
Yeah, and as you said, it's not just Italian and ITSF, but every different country has its own tradition. I can be on a table, I don't know the person, they don't speak English. You see the way
Yeah.
they play, and you think, I think this guy's German
Yeah,
or Austrian, and even in the US have got different styles of play in different parts of America. I think I told you when we spoke last time, when the
yes,
Americans had their first tournaments in the 70s, they hadn't agreed the rules. So Texas rules were different to Minnesota rules, were different to Pacific Northwest, were different to California. So the first thing they did was have a big argument about what's allowed and what's not allowed. And then when Farid Lunas brought the ITSF together, he had to do the same thing. So I think the rules were written kind of by the Americans and the French and the Austrians and probably the Germans, but the Italians, the Spanish were outside because their rules were so different, the tables were so different in the case of Spain. And so it's interesting now, the ITSF has made a lot of effort to find ways to bring Italian style in, for that reason I said at the start, because people start in the Italian way. So now the Roberto Sport Revolution table is one which you can play any style on, Italian style or international style. They ran this speedball event at the World Cup, and it's very interesting. You're starting to see Italian players are coming out from Italy to play in the international tournaments. So Caruso, Nesta, Russo. What's the guy in Moscuzza's fantastic. If you watch Moscuzza
Moscuzza, yeah, I saw him, yeah.
on some of the things he does, but also there are already Italians playing in Germany and France and USA and UK who started playing in the style of that country as well. So we're all mixing and connecting together.
Yeah,
This big family.
I have to send a big thanks, I mean, to people who are working and who work to let our style, join the ITSF World Cup. I think was in an experimental mode, let's say, in last World Cup. And yeah, they're still working on the table. They made a Roberto Sport International for the ITSF, which I had the chance to play, and it's really cool. It's a bit different, of course, but
Yeah, the revolution.
the revolution, yes, exactly.
Yeah, the revolution is nice. Some of the mortal and what's it called, the combat and the adrenaline. The Italians didn't like them. The international players didn't like them. I think the revolution is really nice.
Yeah, it needs still to get used, but I think can be done lots of good tricks.
So a really cool thing is later this year in November, I think, fingers crossed, that the Roberto Sport World Series is going to take place in Italy, doing Italian style and official ITSF rules as well. And the last time they did it, it clashed with a big P4P tournament. So lots of the top players went for P4P. I hope, as people get more exposure to Italy and the Italian style, that the Roberto Sport Worlds this year will get more international players coming to play against Italian style, and the Italians get to see the international style as well.
Yeah. I want to explain also why you said finger crossed, because unfortunately we know we can hide that now. We're facing hard times for what is happening in Italy, and unfortunately every important contest, every tournament has been obviously and rightfully cancelled. So finger crossed, because we hope that soon everything will be sorted, as we think and we hope all together. And yes, in November we can host.
So I have a question, which is that if the event happens in November, will you play doubles with me?
Oh,
I need a partner.
I would be not as a goalie, yeah, because you. No, I actually I moved as a striker now. Let's say striker.
Cool. I'll play a goal.
Yeah,
you can teach me how to stop Italian shots.
Well, and you can teach me how to play more ITSF style, cool. which I start to love it since I played last year here in Thailand. I found a table, a classic, tornado. Even though I found it a bit hard to play, heavy compared to our tables, it was so good when I discovered I could do the slingshot, actually. It's so nice.
Slingshot's a great shot.
Yeah.
They did the rollerball final in 2 years ago in Hamburg, and that was again kind of international rollerball rules. So you had Ryan Moore on one side of the table and his partner Justin Shaw, and on the other side was Nesta and another Italian. And Nesta was just doing far side slingshots. Wicked.
Yes.
You call it Frusta, right?
Frusta. He's very, he's specialized in that. He's so good. Caruso, Nesta, and Rosica. I had the opportunity to see them last November in down in south, not in south, in center of Italy, near Rome. I saw them. They're impressive.
So you mentioned a bit about Thailand, which is where you are at the moment, and you were out finding tables. My own experience, I used to live in Korea, and I think I told you before, when I was in Korea, I started Korea table soccer, so I've got my Korea shirt on. Thailand is one of the countries in Asia which doesn't yet have a foosball scene. So Singapore does, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, China, Taiwan, Chinese Taipei have all got growing communities. Vietnam next door has got some keen guys as well.
Yeah, they're very huge.
Thailand, I know you've got some guys in Phuket, some Germans. There's a French guy in Bangkok. There's some Thais in Bangkok as well. There's something. So I don't know if have you spoken to them about how you helped Thailand to get going?
Okay, I spoke with them too. With a guy who lives in Bangkok, which is 20 kilometers far from me. I didn't have the chance, so again I apologize. When I can, I will go even to meet my person and have a game. He has a table on his house, as far as I know. The German one I missed for a little. I went to his property, and actually it's not in Phuket but in Chaham, in Hua Hin.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job because he created a group which is called Thailand Foosball, It's pretty easy, and he hosts many tournaments every year, once a month, let's say, on Garlando, if I'm not wrong, because I saw the foosball table last week.
That's a nice story. I mean, one of the things we sometimes think foosball is all about international and World Cup and the top end, but most foosball is happening just small groups of people coming together, Friday night, 10 people. Let's just play, and that's
Yeah, totally
you
agree.
know,
Yeah.
you know in the there was an interview with one of the Americans during the foosballer film, and Dan and Ma, and someone said to him, "What are the rules of foosball?" He said, three rules. Rule number one, have fun. Rule number two, no spinning. Rule number three, have fun. And I think that message I have for everyone is, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, make sure you're having fun.
I steal that quotation. I will put my Twitch. It's so cool. I like it. That's good. Have fun, no spin, have fun. Three
Have fun, no
rules.
spinning, have fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And no gancho.
No gancho. No gancho for us.
So
The only
I love your-
problem, sorry, the only problem I think for Thailand is that we should take a representative that could speak at least Thai, to involve more, even more Thais. I mean, it's already good that the way that many people here they're doing, because they're doing a big effort, to bring in the foreigners, okay? Because it's easier. You can type, in English. Many of the tourists they would understand. But I think it would be also good to try at least to involve, more locals. That's it.
Yeah. It's what I found in Korea, where I started the community in Seoul, and most of our players were international players. Seoul has got lots of foreigners, but then we found a group of people in another city in Busan who were all Koreans, and so now the two communities are one community, but it's great that the Korean side is growing, but they've learned. They wouldn't have been able to learn without the internationals bringing it to them and they had terrible tables. Now they have fireball tables, and it's just something they can. So it needs you to take it to them.
Okay.
I find it's really nice.
Yeah, this is the beautiful of life. You never know what can happen.
So you're
Okay.
telling this. You're in this interesting position, helping to take Italian-style foosball out Biliardino to the rest of the world, and also explaining international foosball to the Italians. And I think there's a kind of good question is, how can we all help you to do this? How can we help take international football to Italy and Italian football out?
Oh, that question is good, and honestly, just the best thing would be to have more and more interview. To have more people that available. Let's see, available for have a nice chat as we are having, me and you. And honestly, I'm not really trying to let Italian now understand, because when I started before, yes, I tried also to translate this, but it's like now my mission, let's say, is just to give voice to any players, to let understand the crowd, if possible, one day, what is foosball and how people not struggle, but sometimes it can be a sacrifice also, to reach a high point, doing it without, a big prize, because you do mainly for the passion. This is what we aiming to let understand the crowd that what is foosball mainly.
And I think what you will see, as I'm sure you're seeing, is it's a personal. Everybody's story is different, but we're all using foosball in a way as kind of as a vehicle to have. For me, it's taken me around the world. I've met so many different people. I've had so many different experiences through playing the game, and also by playing the game itself, I've learned so much about myself. You, as we were talking about, you have to learn to cope with emotions. You have to learn to be analytical. You have to learn to concentrate and practice. You have to learn to think and cope with situations. And I've taken things I've learned in foosball and out into the rest of my life. And you think, okay, I've seen this situation before on a table. I'm not on a table, but I can cope with this situation because I learned it because of this stupid game that I spend my life doing.
That's totally. Well, I agree with that. I mean, emotion. You have to, of course, in the real life, you should always cope with emotion, but also in this what they call game, which is not, but it's a sport at all, in all the angles that you want to see it. It's a sport which need lots of trainings also.
Well, I always think it's an interesting thing. For me, it's a sport and it's a game as well. So the ITSF and the top end of the game has been built very well as a sport, but most of the people who are experiencing it are playing it as a game. If it's in the hospital where the nurses and the doctors, when they have 1 hour break and they have some coffee and they have some cake and there's a table, they're just playing it as a game. So we sometimes we forget it's a game. So we have to remember lots of people don't care about winning. They don't care about rankings. They don't care about tournaments. It's just 10 minutes of fun. And so how can we help those people to have more fun with it? Make it a bit more of a sport for them, but not so much that it scares them away.
Yeah, halfway. Yeah, maybe
Halfway.
first have fun and of course. But what I would like to say is that even talking with previous previous guests, that a great idea, I don't know if in UK they're doing already, is to introduce in schools like PE, physical education. Why not?
Yes. I love what they're doing in the US. I don't know if you've spoken to John O'Brien yet.
John O'Brien, yes, I had the chance, the honor to talk with him. Yeah, they're doing great job.
Here in the UK, we're talking to a very big sporting equipment provider, and they sell sports equipment to schools. So they sell badminton, table tennis, basketball, baseball, which is, as you said, it's the PE stuff. And they have the contract actually with Roberto Sport here in the UK. And so we're talking to them about, we need to develop a youth program, which they will then sell to schools on our behalf. Of course, they will sell a table as well. So if you're going to do a program in a school, is it a lunchtime club? Is it an after-school club? Is it something that happens in PE? Mm-hmm. And you need to explain to the teachers, because the teacher, table football isn't just spin the rods. So, I'm thinking in my mind, YouTube video, I need 90 seconds that says, how do I maintain a table? 90 seconds that says, what are the rules? 90 seconds, how to run a tournament. 90 seconds, what are the techniques? And that's probably enough. Right? The guy's he's seen in 6 minutes, fine, I can do something with this. But you need to, it's train the trainer. We need to educate the teachers. We give them a nice package. The UK badminton people have got a program. It cost them £500,000 to make the program for schools. Now, we don't have that kind of money. We're going to build something, and then this company will help us to take it out.
What about, to let the teacher former players that they would understand, how to run a program of foosball.
The same thing works not just for schools, but actually for anybody.
Yeah.
If I'm in an office, I want to start a club. If I'm in a hospital, I'm in a church, I'm at home, I want to start a club. What do I do? You need to give people very simple instructions so they can. One of the great things I think for new people starting foosball is using Kicker Tool, which is the free German software.
And it's so good. We used. Sometimes so good. Yeah, it's good and not complicated. But if you go in deep, you can find some option that makes it even so dynamic, so good, really good. It's very well made.
I've used it. Monster DYP is a fantastic format for mixing lots of different levels of people together.
Yeah.
I like Last Man Standing, which is where you have 2 lives, you have 3 lives. I've done tournaments where I've just had a room full of people in their 70s and people who are under the age of 10. Right. For the next half an hour, we're all doing a competition, and each game is, you have to score 3 goals.
Yeah.
People have fun.
Big compliment.
Big
compliment.
And then they're happy.
Congratulations to whoever made that, because they really brought up a good work.
People like this is my medal from the World Cup.
Team
GB Seniors, second place in the World Cup. We beat the Americans. It was amazing, and we beat the Dutch. But
so we need to talk a little about you now, eh? When you
a little bit. We got 5 minutes left.
Okay. So what did you achieve?
Actually, a bit more than 5 minutes.
No, let's say, what did you achieve as a player?
What did I achieve as a player? So I'm like a a decent player, but I'm not a great player. So, you're interviewing a lot of people who are top players. That's not me. I know how to play the game. I know the rules. I probably started learning it properly too late. So I got the virus, the hook of table football when I was at university. My friends played pool and darts, but next to pool and darts was the table football table. So I started playing and I became hooked. And I maybe 10 years ago, I got really into. I was in Los Angeles for one day, and I went to the LA Foos Club as a complete no idea what was going on, and I saw it and I thought, this is what I want to do. And since then, it's been taking me around the world. So I play in all the. I don't have a favorite table. I play lots of different styles, lots of different techniques. I probably don't have the mentality sometimes to stay to the game all the way through to win. But I know I've got good results. I've got a pile of medals here from different things.
Ah, yeah,
I don't have a big pile of trophies, but I enjoy the game a lot.
yeah. Just let's mention the best achievement that you had
Well,
as a player.
well, not as a player, because as I was waving the medal a little bit. The World
Okay.
Cup last year in Spain, I coached Team Great Britain seniors, so over 50s, to the silver medal, and it was an extraordinary journey for all of us. And as I said, the quarterfinal game, we played the Americans, but the Americans seniors, they're all Hall of Fame. So that's Dave Gummerson, that is Adrian Zamora, Steve Biney, Garrett Sherkenbach, Steve Murray, did I say him? Tony Bacon. They're just the most amazing pin-up players from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And we beat them 40-37. We beat them on the Tornado 20 goals to 14. I didn't, of course,
Whoa,
touch the table because I'm not a senior. I'm just the coach. But it was that is without doubt the greatest
yeah,
achievement I've been involved with.
big satisfaction. You did a
It
great
was. And
job.
of course, what quite often happens to British teams is we get to the final and waiting for us are the Germans. And that was the end of that.
And what
Uh,
about the not the journey, but how did you reach the point to become now the president of the British Football Association,
yeah.
which is, I think, one of the most important in this field?
Well, we are the British Foosball Association. We are much smaller than we should be. So you go to Germany and they have 7,500 members. You go to Cologne, they have 1,000 people playing on a Friday night in Cologne. You go to Italy, Spain, France, they have lots and lots of players. The same USA. In UK, we probably have 200 members, maybe. And so we are, we're just much smaller than we should be. I've been involved in so many different ways with British Football Association for the last probably 7 years. As I say, I was in Korea. I started the Korea Table Soccer Federation. I also work with the ITSF in my ITSF job. My ITSF bag here. ITSF. I
Ooh, really
run the
cool.
Federation Commission. So all those different federations, when they are dealing with the ITSF, we just had applications from Africa. Every year we renew the membership of all the different federations. Sometimes we deal with problems as well. I'm involved with that as well. Um, I run tournaments here in the UK. I own tables. I run a club. I do far too many things, and my wife suffers
Wow.
a lot because of it.
Ah, okay. This is the passion. She will
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your last question? Usually,
yeah,
we can swap this. I mean, what are your goal for the future, for the near future?
yeah. So right now, my goal is in particular around the British Association. Actually, we want to stop being an organisation that has 200 members and 10 clubs. We want to be a much bigger organisation. We want to have, I don't know, 50 clubs. I want 1,000 members. I want and I want football, that thing that's not just a sport; it is a game. So if there's a group of children playing in a school, I want to know who they are. I want to help them to maybe have a match against another school and have fun from it. So really, it's how can we take the fun that is in table football in Billardino in organised and competitive ways, not just spin the rods, and how can I take that out to more people in the UK so they can enjoy it?
Yeah, that's great to hear that, and we all wish you the best for this project.
Thank you, thank you.
And okay, if you had to ask me the question, I would say I'm aiming to let more and more people know about you guys, in this beautiful field of football,
Hmm.
that you are doing a great job. whether you are a player, a rookie, a pro player, or a promoter and organizer like you, a president of Foosball Association. I just want to give you more and more voice to let understand that this sport need to grow up again as before, no? In the golden age.
Yeah.
That's it. We aim into that.
Well, thank you very much indeed. And it's not a you guys thing now; it's a we guys thing because you are now
Yes.
part of the Foosball family.
Oh, thank you so much. I
But I'm looking
appreciate that.
forward, our fingers crossed,
Yes.
to Roberto Sport. I'll be your defender, and you just score the goals with the Frusta and the Chinesa and the Gancia. Not the Gancia.
Cancio no, cannot.
My new partner, Riccardo. Sorry, my current partners who are watching this. I'm
Okay.
my Italian partner now.
Italian, yes, we'll do definitely. Okay, we say that live, so
It's a promise, right?
a promise. Yes. So finger crossed again for what is going on now, and that everything will sorted as soon as possible. Saying that, I don't know if you have any last thought. Otherwise, we are almost at the end.
Just thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I really appreciate it's kind of on behalf of the Foosball family what you're doing to.
Yes.
This is something new that you're doing with Buggy Live. We haven't had people doing this before. You get lots of coverage, lots of people are seeing this. So thank you from the world to you for helping us promote our story to each other. Thank you.
Yeah, and I thank you guys for giving me your time to explain more about this beautiful sport. So say that from Buggy Live, Riccardo, Stefano, which is now in Italy and works behind the scene, Will Oaks, right?
Yeah, Hawks. British pronunciation.
Yeah.
Hawks.
So Buggy Live
Thank you.
ends here. So thank you everyone for watching.
Ciao ragazzi.
Ci vediamo alla prossima. Bye everyone.
Alla prossima. Bye bye. And thank you, Riccardo. I'm going to go now too.
Bye.
Bye.